This is a short video summarizing a part of Houston Smith's chapter in Hinduism and the religions of the world, a famous comparative religion book by him. He does a really good job of entering into an accessible way to start to see Hindu theology. So this is a good precursor to the three questions. And what he looks at, what people want. Exploring that as an answer to the solutions Hinduism provides. They want four things, and they're called the four goods of life. I can't do this very well, so I'm not going to write four goods of life, but you want to write that there. There are, the first one is pretty simple. What do people want? They want kama, Sanskrit word meaning pleasure. And we mean by that just what it looks like, simple pleasure, sensual pleasure, sexual pleasure, good food, what feels good. This makes sense because of our inborn pleasure centers. But eventually we realize that pleasure is not all we want, not because it's wicked, but because it is too trivial to satisfy our total nature. And with this realization, we move on to the next goal, which is artha. Artha, H is silent, which means essentially worldly success. What do I mean by worldly success? Well, essentially I mean three things. I mean wealth, fame, and power. And these two are not considered bad things, but they have their limits as well. They're exclusive, hence competitive, hence precarious. The drive for success can be insatiable, leading to frustration. And like hedonism, like the pursuit of pleasure, worldly success centers on meaning in the self, which seems kind of small for a lifetime of enthusiasm. And it's ephemeral. It's fleeting. You can't take it with you. Now, before I proceed to the two other goods of life, let's notice I've broken the four up into two paths. And the first two, kama and artha, are on the path of desire. These are simple desires of our ego. But the second path is when a person matures and says, I want more, and I want to extend my field of vision beyond my own ego. They enter the path of renunciation, to renounce selfish desires. And this brings us to the third good, which is dharma, very fluid, flexible term in Hindu and Buddhist thought. We mean pretty much here strictly duty and service to others. That's great, but that too eventually seems to prove insufficient. It's still ephemeral, and it's still somewhat limited to a narrow field, a finite field. Which brings us to the fourth and final good, and the best good by far, which is moksha, which I believe means release in Sanskrit. And to understand moksha, we have to ask, what do we really want? Okay, I thought it was pleasure, worldly success, and I grew up and thought it was about duty, and that's not it. What do we really want? Well, we really want three things. We want being. We want to exist, to continue existing. And we want knowledge. It's true, we want to understand things. We're curious. Primates are curious. There have been experiments with monkeys which show they want to know what's under a trapdoor more than they want food or sex. It's amazing. We want knowledge. We want to know. And third, we want to be happy. Meaning we want a quiet euphoria, a blissful joy. We want bliss. Moreover, we don't just want being, knowledge, and bliss. We want infinite being, infinite knowledge, infinite bliss. We want release from the finitude of our little finite, limited existence into a more infinite existence. So moksha, that's what we want. How do Hindus get there? Well, there are four paths to God. And they're referred to either as margas, which means paths, or yogas. We're going to call them in this context yogas. And the first one, different people are different, and so Hinduism provides different modes that suit different people's personalities. Let's say you're a thinker, you're a scholar, then you're going to want to follow the jnana yoga. Jnana yoga is the way of wisdom or knowledge. It's a fairly steep path. It's a set of ascetic, meditative practices, pondering philosophical ideas that try and take you from the finite to the infinite. If you're a more social, practical person, that just seems a little tough. So you're going to probably be interested in the bhakti yoga, which is the path of devotion or love. Bhakti yoga involves having a devotional practice with a personal deity who you develop a close relationship with to help you achieve moksha. It's more realistic for the average person and much more popular in numbers, quite frankly, than the others for that reason. But if you're sort of a person of action, you might pursue the karma yoga. Karma means literally action. Um, action. Um, you, you know what karma means intuitively. Good moral action accrues good karma. Bad moral action accrues bad karma. And so you want to advance yourself closer to moksha by accruing good karma through meritorious action. Now, traditionally, these are the three ways. In the 19th century, there began to be defined and mentioned a fourth way, which I'll note here, called Raja Yoga. Raja means royal or king. And this is the royal road to reintegration. Reintegration of what? Reintegration with your finite existence with the infinite plane of existence. Moksha. And so what is it? Well, it's a set of psychophysical exercises. What you think of as yoga, meditation, and crazy movements, that's really what Raja Yoga is. And those are the four goods of life, the four things people want, and the four ways that Hindus can pursue getting those things.